Hello everybody, this is Danish Rafiq and in this video we'll discuss about the syllabus for preliminary and mains examination of Kashmir Administrative Service. Yesterday we had uploaded a video in which we discussed about the pattern and scheme of prelims, mains and interview of Kashmir Administrative Service, and in this particular video we'll talk about the syllabus for preliminary and mains examination of Kashmir Administrative Service. So without waiting any more time, let's start our video. The preliminary examination will consist of two papers. The first paper has 200. Time for this paper shall be 2 hours and syllabus in this paper: current events of national and international importance, history of India and Indian national movement, India and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world, Indian polity and governance, constitution, political system, Panchayati Raj, public policy, rights issues, etc., economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives, etc., general issues on environment, ecology, biodiversity and climate change that do not require subject specialization, general science. Questions pertaining to the state of Jammu and Kashmir to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir may also be asked in this paper. The paper second for preliminary examination has also 200 marks and it carries the topics comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills, logical reasoning and analytical ability, decision making and problem solving, general mental ability, basic numeracy, numbers and their relations, orders of magnitude, etc., class 10th level, data interpretation, charts, graphs, tables, data sufficiency, etc., class 10th level. It will have 2 hours of time. Paper second of combined competitive preliminary examination will be a qualifying paper with minimum qualifying marks fixed at 33%. The questions will be of multiple choice objective type. It is mandatory for the candidate to appear in both the papers of combined competitive preliminary examination for the purpose of evaluation. Therefore, a candidate will be disqualified if he or she does not appear in both the papers of combined competitive preliminary examination. So the thing is that you have to appear for both the papers if you want to get selected for Kashmir Administrative Service. Only after appearing in both the papers of preliminary examination you will be allowed to appear in mains examination. Let's see the mains examination. The mains examination is intended to assess the overall intellectual traits and depth of understanding of candidates rather than merely the range of their information and memory. The nature and standard of questions in the general studies paper second to paper fifth will be such that a well-educated person will be able to answer them without specialized study. The questions will be such as to test a candidate's general awareness of a variety of subjects which will have relevance for a career in civil services. The questions are likely to test the candidate's basic understanding of all relevant issues and ability to analyze and to take a view on conflicting socio-economic goals, objectives and demands. The candidates must give relevant, meaningful and succinct answers. The scope of syllabus for optional subjects paper 6 and paper 7 for the examination is broadly of the honors degree level higher than the bachelor's degree and lower than the master's degree. In case of engineering, medical science and law, the level corresponds to the bachelor's degree. The syllabus for the paper including in the scheme of combined competitive mains examination is given as below. Qualifying paper on English language. The marks of English language will not be counted for the ranking, but it is mandatory for a student to appear in this paper and to qualify this paper. Only after qualifying in this paper a student will be allowed to appear in paper first to the end. The aim of the paper is to test the candidate's ability to read and understand serious discursive prose and to express his ideas clearly and correctly. The pattern of questions would be broadly as follows: comprehension of given passages, precise writing usage and vocabulary, short essays. The paper will be of matriculation or equivalent standard and will be of qualifying nature only. The marks obtained in this paper will not be counted for final ranking. Paper first. The marks of paper first till the interview will be counted for the selection. Essays. Candidates may be required to write essay on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay to arrange their ideas in orderly fashion and to write concisely. Credit will be given for effective and exact expression. Paper second, General Studies. The topics in this subject are Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of world and society. Indian culture will cover the salient features of art forms, literature and architecture from ancient to modern times. Modern Indian history from about the middle of the 8th century until the present. Significant events, personalities, issues, the freedom struggle, its various stages and important contribution from different parts of the country, post-independence, consolidation and reorganization within the country. History of the world include events from 18th century such as industrial revolution and world wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc., their forms and effect on the society. Salient features of Indian society, diversity of India, role of women and women's organization, population and associated issues, poverty and developmental issues, urbanization, their problems and their remedies, effects of globalization on Indian society, social empowerment, communism, regionalism and secularism, salient features of world's physical geography, distribution of key natural resources across the world including South Asia and Indian subcontinent, factors responsible for the location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world including India, important physical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc., geographical features and their location, changes in critical geographical features including water bodies and ice caps, and in flora and fauna and effects of such changes. Paper second, and the topics in general studies. Paper third, General Studies second, Indian Constitution, historical underpinnings, evolution, features, amendments, significant provisions and basic structure, functions of and responsibilities of the Union and stages, issues and challenges pertaining to the future federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to local level and change therein, separation of powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanisms and institution, comparison of Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries, parliament and state legislature, structure, functioning and conduct of business, power and privilege and issues arising out of these, structure of organization and functioning of the executive and judiciary, ministers and departments of the government, pressure groups and formal informal associations and their role in the polity, salient features of the representation of people's appointment to various constitutional posts, powers, functions and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies, statutory, regulatory and various quasi-federal bodies, government policies and interventions for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation, development processes and the development industry, the role of NGOs, SHGs, various groups and associations, donors, charities, institutional and other stakeholders, welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by the center and states, and the permanence of the schemes, mechanisms, laws, institutions and bodies constituted for the protection and betterment of these vulnerable sections, issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education and human resources, issues relating to poor and hunger, important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, e-governance, applications, models, successes, limitations and potential citizens, charters, transparency and accountability and institutional and other measures, role of civil services in democracy, India and its neighborhood relations, bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and affecting India's interests, effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests, Indian diaspora, important international institutions, agencies and fora, their structure, mandate. Paper 4th, General Studies 3, Technology, Economic Development, Biodiversity, Environment, Security and Disaster Management, Indian Economy and Issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment, inclusive growth and issues arising from it, government budgeting, major cropping patterns in various parts of the country, different types of irrigation and irrigation system, storage, transport and marketing of agriculture produce and issues and related constraints, e-technology in aid of farmers, issues relating to direct and indirect from subsidies and minimum support prices, public distribution system objectives, functioning limitations, revamping issues of buffer stocks and food security, technology missions, economic of animal rearing, food processing and related industries in India, scope and significance, location, upstream and downstream requirements, supply chain management, lane reforms in India, effects of liberalization on the economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth, infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc., investment models, science and technology developments and their applications and effects in everyday life, achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, awareness in the fields of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology and issues relating to intellectual property rights, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment, disaster and disaster management, linkages between development and spread of extremism, role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security, challenges to internal security through communication network, role of media and social networking sites in internal security, challenges, basics of cybersecurity, money laundering and its prevention, security challenges and their management in broad areas, linkages of organized crime with terrorism, various security forces and agencies and their mandate. Paper 5th, General Studies for Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. This paper will include questions to test the candidate's attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probity in public life and his problem-solving approach to various issues and conflicts faced by him in dealing with society. Questions may utilize the case study approach to determine these aspects. The following broad areas will be covered: ethics and human interference, essence, detriments and consequences of ethics in human actions, dimensions of ethics, ethics in private and public relationships, human values, lessons from the lives and teachings of great leaders, reformers and administrators, role of family, society and educational institution in inculcating values, attitude, content, structure, function, its influence and relation with thought and behavior, moral and political attitudes, social influence and persuasion, aptitude and foundational values for civil service, integrity, impartiality and non-partisanship, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker section, emotional intelligence, concepts and their utilities and application in administration and governance, contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world, public civil service, values and ethics in public administration, status and problems, ethical concerns and dilemmas in government and private institutions, laws, rules, regulations and conscience as a sources of ethical guidance, accountability and ethical governance, strengthening of ethical and moral values in governance, ethical issues in international relations and funding, corporate governance, probity in governance, concept of public service, philosophical basis of governance and probity, information sharing and transparency in government, right to information, codes of ethics, codes of conduct, citizen charters, work culture, quality of service delivery, utilization of public funds, challenges of corruption, case studies on above issues. Paper 6th and paper 7th, optional subject paper 1st and paper 2nd is included in paper 6th and paper 7th. Candidates may choose any optional subject from amongst the list of the subject in appendix 1. The details for each optional subject is given. We have discussed about the optional subject in our previous video which we have uploaded yesterday. If you want to know more about the scheme and pattern of prelims, mains and interview of Kashmir Administrative Service, you can check our latest video which we have uploaded yesterday. I will give the link of that video in the description of this video too. If you want to know about the prelims, mains and interview, their scheme, their pattern. You can check that video too. If you have enjoyed our video, subscribe our YouTube channel, press the bell icon to get the notification for our latest videos. Thank you.